Hello, and welcome. Take a slow, gentle breath in and softly let it go. Allow your shoulders to relax and your mind to slow down just a little. Sometimes, the most powerful influences in our lives are the ones we do not clearly see. Manipulation is rarely loud. It does not arrive with obvious signs or clear warnings. Instead, it appears quietly through small behaviors, subtle words, and emotional patterns that slowly affect you. And before you even realize it, your thoughts begin to change, your confidence begins to shift, and your emotions feel different. Today, we will gently explore 8 signs that someone may be secretly manipulating you. Let's begin. Slowly and with awareness. 1. They make you question your own thoughts. At first, it feels small. A simple question, a quiet doubt. They may say, "Are you sure about that?" Or, "I think you're overthinking." Over time, these small moments begin to grow. You start to second-guess yourself, and slowly, your trust in your own thinking begins to fade. 2. They use guilt to influence your decisions. Guilt can feel heavy and difficult to ignore. A manipulative person may remind you of everything they have done for you, or they may express disappointment when you choose something different. You begin to feel responsible for their emotions, and over time, you act not from your own choice, but from guilt. 3. Their behavior is inconsistent. One day, they're kind, warm, and supportive. The next, they become distant, cold, or silent. This shift creates confusion. You begin to wonder what changed and why. And in that confusion, you may try harder to gain their approval. 4. They avoid taking responsibility. When something goes wrong, they rarely accept fault. Instead, they shift the focus back to you, sometimes subtly, sometimes directly. You may begin to feel that you are always the one at fault, even in situations where you have done nothing wrong. 5. They twist your words. You say something simple, but it is misunderstood or changed. Your words are taken out of context. This creates frustration, and slowly you begin to question how you express yourself. You may even become quieter just to avoid conflict. 6. They create emotional confusion. There are moments of calm, followed by sudden tension. You may not understand why things changed. This emotional pattern keeps you unbalanced. And when you feel unsteady, it becomes harder to think clearly. This confusion makes it easier for them to influence you. 7. They encourage dependency. Over time, they position themselves as someone you need. You may begin to rely on them for decisions, for clarity, for emotional support. And slowly, your independence begins to fade. You may feel unsure without their guidance. 8. Your intuition feels uneasy. Deep inside, there is a quiet feeling. Something does not feel right. You may not have clear proof, but there is discomfort, a subtle sense that something is off. And often, your intuition is guiding you towards awareness. Final thoughts. Manipulation is not always easy to see. It develops slowly through repeated behavior and emotional influence. That is why awareness is so important. When you begin to notice these signs, you gain clarity. You begin to understand what is really happening, and most importantly, you begin to trust yourself again. Take your time. There is no need to rush. Simply observe, gently and without pressure. Notice how you feel and how others behave, because awareness is the first step towards protecting your peace. And once you become aware, you begin to take back control, quietly, gently, and with strength. Thank you for being here, and take gentle care of your thoughts, your energy, and your inner peace.
Take a quiet moment and gently breathe in, slowly. And now, softly breathe out. Let your mind settle and allow yourself to simply listen. Sometimes, the most important things to understand are not the loud ones. They are quiet, subtle, and easy to miss. Manipulation is often like that. It doesn't always appear as control or obvious pressure. Instead, it shows itself through small patterns that slowly influence how you feel and how you respond. Today, we will gently explore 8 subtle signs that someone may be secretly manipulating you. Let's begin slowly. 1. You begin to doubt yourself. At first, it may feel like a small thing, a question, a comment, a slight disagreement. But over time, you notice something changing. You begin to question your own thoughts. You wonder if you are wrong, and slowly, your confidence becomes quieter. 2. You feel guilty without a clear reason. There are moments when you feel guilty, even when you haven't done anything wrong. A manipulative person may express disappointment in subtle ways. They may remind you of what they have done for you, and slowly you begin to carry emotional weight that does not belong to you. 3. Their kindness feels unpredictable. Sometimes they are warm, caring, and kind, and in those moments, everything feels comfortable. But then, without clear reason, that warmth disappears. This creates confusion, and you may find yourself trying to bring back that kindness. 4. You feel responsible for their reactions. When something goes wrong, you may notice that you feel responsible, even if the situation was not your fault. A manipulative person may shift emotions in a way that makes you feel accountable, and slowly you begin to carry responsibility that is not yours. 5. Your words are often misunderstood. You try to explain something simple, but it turns into something else. Your meaning is changed or misinterpreted. This creates frustration, and over time, you may begin to speak less just to avoid being misunderstood. 6. You feel emotionally unsteady. There are moments of calm, followed by sudden tension. You may not understand what changed. This emotional inconsistency creates imbalance, and when you feel unsteady, it becomes harder to think clearly. 7. You rely on them more than before. Slowly, you may notice a shift. You begin to depend on them for decisions, for reassurance, for clarity. At first, it feels natural, but over time, your independence becomes weaker and their influence becomes stronger. 8. Something inside you feels off. Deep within, there is a quiet feeling, not loud, but present. Something doesn't feel right. You may have no clear answers, but your intuition is speaking, and often that quiet voice is trying to guide you. Final thoughts. Manipulation is not always easy to recognize. It moves slowly through repeated patterns and emotional influence. That is why awareness is so important. When you begin to notice these signs, you create space. Space to think, to reflect, and to understand. And in that space, you begin to see clearly. You begin to trust yourself again. So take your time. There is no need to rush. Simply observe, gently and honestly. Notice how you feel. Notice what changes in your thoughts and your emotions, because awareness is the first step toward protecting your peace. And once you become aware, you begin to take back control, quietly, calmly, and with strength. Thank you for being here, and take gentle care of your mind, your energy, and your inner peace.